Can you move there, guys?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar via Viva-Mundo. We are here with the wonderful University of Venda from South Africa. We're traveling all the way from sunny South Africa today to give you this webinar. I'm going to pass you over to Thabo, who will be your presenter, but please do ask any questions if you can in the Q&A box just at the bottom of your screen, and we will get to those at the very end. All right, I'm going to pass you over to Thabo.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. As stated, as introduced, my name is Thabo Dikgale. I'm from the University of Venda, and I'll be speaking to you about internationalization and study at UNIVEN. So perhaps just to provide a brief background and introduction, as to what the university offers and where we are, located as a university. So I think we are celebrating 40 years this year. The university was established in 1982. And in terms of our location, we're located in quite an advantageous place. We are surrounded, by a number, of countries as the University of Venda. You'll see to the north that we have Zimbabwe, and then we have, obviously, as we're also in close proximity with Botswana, Swaziland, Lesotho, as well as Mozambique. So, we sort of provide a gateway to a number of countries surrounding the university. That offers, obviously, a lot of opportunities in terms of mobility, but as well as, in terms of tourism. If that kind of a student that likes to move around and explore Southern Africa, then you'd probably be in the right place. So in terms of academic offerings, we have over 80 undergraduate degrees, and these are spread across 4 faculties, one being health sciences, humanities, social science and education, management, commerce and law, science, engineering and agriculture. And we also have a reasonable mix of international academics, from West Africa, North Africa, East Africa, etc. So there's a diverse population of international students, as well as academics on campus. In about 2020, we had around 200 international students, which is less than 2% of the university's student population. And we've taken many measures to increase that. The ideal being 5% of international students on campus, and it's a number that we hope to reach. So when you do come to the University of Venda, you'll definitely find many other nationalities that are part of the student population. So in terms of overview, I think as already stated, we're in Thohoyandou, in the Limpopo province, which is in the north of South Africa. We've also been recently designated as a comprehensive university. So essentially what that means is that beyond, your sort of formal BA, BSc qualifications, honors, masters, etc., the university now has competence in offering short courses, so short courses in various disciplines. So it's no longer about your formal degrees, but if you want to come in for short study for a period of 3 months or 6 months, that's also available. And you can check that out on the website link that we'll provide to you. So essentially, we have a student population of about 15,000 to 17,000 at any given time, with a staff complement of over 900. So about our student population is about a 12% postgraduate, postgraduate students undertaking various number of courses, etc. And the staff, complement is also very good compared to national standards. I think the average figure for South African educators with PhDs is around 37%, and the university boasts 43%. So, and that's, obviously continually increasing. So the staff complement that the students will be, paired with or taught by and lectured by is of a high quality standard and international in nature, as stated. So, in terms of the university's vision and mission, we are guided by, producing graduates that are locally relevant but globally competitive. So, the University of Venda has quite a unique, symbiosis and coexistence with its communities. So a lot of the work that we do really speaks to solving issues on the ground. So very practical. And, you know, students are encouraged across disciplines to focus on solving actual issues on the ground. And those, you know, our offerings are, you know, informed by those institutional values that are outlined there. So excellence and quality is number one there deliberately, because that's what we strive for continually. And there is no sort of offering that isn't done within the ambit of quality as well as excellence. So in terms of our strategic plan, I think we are looking to be, you know, student-centeredness and engaged scholarship. So engaged scholarship is very central to the kind of work that we do. We look to provide offerings that are connected to the university, that are connected to the community, that's connected to industry, NGOs, etc. So even, you know, when you're looking to come in, for example, at a postgraduate level, a lot of, a lot of, how you will be judged or how your research will be interpreted is how it's going to respond to the communities on the ground. You know, it's not about producing knowledge for the sake of knowledge, but knowledge for impact and knowledge for change. And that really what's drive, the university. And lastly, I think if I look at strategic thrust 4, which speaks to linkages, partnership, and internationalization, we do not operate in a vacuum. We're always trying to connect and interconnect with the world out there. So a lot of the knowledge, a lot of the teaching methods, is internationalized, or the pursuance of internationalization is central to the various offerings across teaching and learning. So we have, for example, various programs. One that I'd like to mention is what they call COIL, so Collaborative Online International Learning, where we collaborate with universities across the globe. I think just to mention a few, there's Amsterdam University, there's Coventry University, and many others, that we collaborate. So there's classes where students here are actually being taught, from 2 perspectives across the world. So at any given time, you would have a lecturer from Coventry University, for example, providing lectures, and vice versa. So I think international collaborative learning and intercultural competence is really something that we take very seriously as well. So we have a number of centers of excellence and units. I can mention many, but for example, in the ICT space, we have a Huawei ICT Academy that is on campus, where students are actually getting, practical lessons from Huawei. It is a certified program, the academy, so students are free to join that academy and learn, hands-on, ICT work, through Huawei, and then get certificated for that. But also because of our positioning, we have a Saatchi chair in agriculture and biotechnology, and we are obviously located in a UNESCO designated biosphere. So meaning that we have advantages in terms of, research in agriculture, in terms of research in the bioeconomy, etc. And there are many others. And one other thing that I would probably like to pick out is that we also have a Center for Entrepreneurship. So we're not just looking to bestow degrees, but we're also looking to say, how do students use those degrees to create jobs and not just be job seekers? So there is a Center for Entrepreneurship that also links various programs and even research outputs from our staff, and tries to turn them, into entrepreneurial and business opportunities. So students would also have, services available to them from that Center for Entrepreneurship. So we also have, a lot of niche areas or research focus areas where the university is quite dominant, and they are listed out there. There are many. I won't mention all of them, but I'm sure students can look at that list and see their own interests or something akin, to what they would be interested in. We have also, some of top of the class, laboratories and equipment, etc. Some of these have been donated, for example, by the Department of Science and Innovation, but some of these are, have been born, through international collaborations, through international partnerships, etc. So even when there isn't, a service or an equipment available on campus, we can activate then our international partnerships and ensure, that students enjoy top quality, laboratories, top quality equipment, etc. So in terms of the research profile, we have NRF rated researchers. So that's the national body that rates, excellent researchers in the country. And we have 32 of those. It's quite a process. So in order for us to have that number of, excellent quality researchers, it means that the university is doing well. There's a lot of throughput in terms of publications. There's a lot of throughput in terms of postgraduate students, etc. So I think the university is doing well in that. And then, we also lead academically in a number, of areas, as already mentioned: biotechnology, community engagement. The Vuwani Resource Center, is something that we are proud of as a university, because in this particular program, we're not only, providing capacity to students, but we're also providing capacity to the teachers at a high school level, meaning that the undergraduates that we then receive are also of a higher quality, but through interventions that we made before they come to varsity. So I think that's something that the university is also very proud of. And as mentioned, international linkages and partnerships is a big part of what we do. It's a big part of our portfolio. And, we have a global footprint, unmatched by many, over 160 national and international agreements that we have as a university. This really, provides us with very critical links, particularly in terms of enabling research. So for example, if a student is looking to do research within a hospital, we've got agreements that can activate that. If you're looking to do research within the community, we've got agreements that can activate that as well. And this also then comes with opportunities in terms of additional mobility, etc. For those that are willing to apply for opportunities that we do provide as a university. So we do support other core businesses from an internationalization perspective. But perhaps just to mention that, the university also has, concrete support in terms of international students that come in. And I will speak to that shortly. I think I've already spoken to the number of, collaborative projects that we have, and those are just some of the few, as well as, some of the partnerships that we have. But we also do have a help desk, and my colleague Susan later on, who will take you through the application process, can also speak a little bit to this. But we provide concentrated support to international students. So from your application process, you wouldn't necessarily apply like a normal South African citizen, because we know that there are inherent challenges that come with being an international student. And that's why, we try and have put in place a specific help desk that looks to support only international students. So, rest assured that, when you do want to join our organization or institution, you would get unmatched support, taking you through the application process, registration process, visa process, and through other programs such as the buddy program, as well as the induction program. We'll also take you through to the city, make sure that you know where everything is, make sure that you know where the hospital is, et cetera, et cetera. So you'll get a deep understanding and a real orientation of not only the university, but as well as the city. And through the buddy program, you'll be matched with a buddy, someone with your similar interests, possibly similar age, etc. And that will be your friend, to take you through the various steps of, being a student at UNIVEN. And then we have other internationalization events where we look to integrate international students with local students, as well as with each other. And really here, what we're trying to do is foster, intercultural competence, cultural cohesiveness, etc. But really, we're trying to bring the community together. And the idea is not to see international and national from an independent lens, but one that combines the two. And then obviously the output is a student who is internationally, locally, and culturally competent. So this is just, a brief tour virtually, just so that you can sort of start to see the kind of environment that you'll be in. So this is the main entrance, and you'll see, we're in a very fertile, very beautiful place. And I'm sure you'll enjoy it, whenever you can make it. So this is the main entrance to, the town of Thohoyandou, the soon to be, or, university town of Thohoyandou. Really, the university is the sort of, economic lifeblood of the town itself. There's a lot of entertainment areas. There's a lot of, natural sites that you can visit. There's many waterfalls, etc. There's dams, there's too many to mention, but it's a beautiful area. And these are just some of the buildings. You can see the School of Education there, and then the Faculty of Social Sciences and Education on the right. And, you know, we've got lecture halls, you know, that can fit, I think, over 200 students, but obviously due to many other reasons, the classes are much smaller, you know, for health reasons, COVID, etc. So very comfortable spaces, you know, with state-of-the-art infrastructure, presentations, sound, etc. So very good equipment. You know, we have some labs and specialized programs. On the left is, you know, would be the School of Regional and Urban Planning, you know, where students, you know, develop, you know, their plans and artscapes, etc. And then on the right is one of the labs where a student is busy with an experiment. And then there's many on-campus and off-campus residences. So we do have capacity for over 3,000 students on campus. And then we've got capacity for over 6,000 students off campus. But perhaps what's worth noting is that for international students, we would take active steps to ensure that you get your desired, you know, place of accommodation. I think the last thing anyone wants is to travel from very far and then not be allocated. So through our help desk, we would ensure, you know, that you are allocated space, whether you want it to be on campus or off campus, but we would take active steps to make sure that you are accommodated before you even land in the country. So the others, I mean, this is, you know, one of the experimental farm, you know, in the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Agriculture. You know, there's many other animals. It's a big farm. You know, it's got, you know, agriculture in terms of farming itself, as well as livestock farming. So there we're just showing the cows, but there's many other livestock that students can use, you know, in order to undertake their experiments, etc. We have the state-of-the-art library that students can visit when they are on campus, but it can also be accessed digitally. So you don't have to go to the library. I mean, you can get an ebook or articles, etc. But should you feel that you need to visit the library, you're more than welcome to do so. You know, you could also, you know, request for a space, your own personal space that you would be using for a certain amount of time. And that space would be allocated to you to use whenever you want to undertake your studies, etc. And then we also have, you know, campus health, you know, on campus, 24-hour emergency service. So if your students need, you know, emergency attendance while they're on campus, they can either call the line or just visit the clinic, which is available. And there is, you know, 24-hour on-site security on campus, as well as Wi-Fi throughout the campus. So you always remain connected. You know, there are extramural activities. For example, if you're into soccer, you know, into rugby, into tennis, swimming, or if you just want to gym, all those facilities are also available on campus if you want to keep active. You know, for students more in the journalism media studies side, we also do have a UNIVEN radio, which broadcasts, you know, across the Thohoyandou city and beyond, as well as on campus. So you can hone your skills there, you know, if you're interested in journalism or radio broadcasting, etc. And then we also have, because of the situation, although, you know, the location where we are, you know, we also have NGOs and outreach programs that are run by the university, but as well as those that are run by students. I think, you know, we have very tuned students that recognize needs on the ground, and speaking to that engaged scholarship angle, you know, the students are really actively participating with the communities, trying to not only bestow their knowledge, but also assist where they can, as well as assist other students that do come from underprivileged homes or communities. So I think it's really a beautiful place, you know, engaged and interest within the community that it serves. And I think, you know, the type of graduates that do come here or come out of this space are really, you know, tuned to what's happening on the ground. You know, we have a number of excellent graduates that have come from this place and are really making a difference in the world. And obviously that's something that we're proud of, and we look to welcome, you know, more graduates that can contribute, you know, to the world, as well as to inequality and poverty, etc., within the province, but as well as within the country. You know, and as stated, I think we have a lot of international programs where we exchange students, you know, throughout the year. So the fact that you're based here doesn't mean that you're going to be here, but you're going to be exposed to many parts of the world, you know, across Europe, across the continent. So it's a home away from home, but hopefully it's going to be a new home to many other students. Thank you very much for the time, staff. Can I hand over to my colleague now, Susan, who will take the participants through the admission process.
Thank you, Thabo, and good day, everyone. I just want to share my screen now, and then. So yeah, my name is Susan Satere. Anyone, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Can you try and share again from Zoom?
Okay.
Oh, great. We can see your screen now. That's perfect. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, I was saying my name is Susan Satere, and good day, everyone. I hope everyone is having a good day. My responsibility, I'm an international student administrator at the University of Venda, and my responsibility is to cater the needs of international students. So here I'm gonna just give you a brief steps on how to register or how to apply with the University of Venda, from application until the finishing of application and registration. So what you need to do you first go to our website, which is www.univen.ac.za. Then on the page, you would click the study at UNIVEN. And then immediately after clicking study at UNIVEN, you will go to two options, which is begin online application and download information booklet. What is happening is that our international students are not yet allowed to use online applications. So what you need to do is to click on the download information booklet, which will take you to 2023 prospectus page. Then there you will see the following option, which is undergraduate study, postgraduate study, and international student information. So as an international student, you have to click international information brochure. Then it will take you to international student page, where you are going to get all the requirement information on how to apply at the University of Venda for both undergraduate and postgraduate students. Postgraduate applicants should complete both undergraduate and postgraduate form for data information. This helps the university to have more data about the students, because our postgraduate form is only 2 pages, and then it doesn't have a lot of data for university to have a data for international students. So you need to fill both the application so that you can have, the university can have a full data of a student. Then undergraduate students should only fill the undergraduate form. And as an undergraduate, you need to submit your HESA certificate or the matriculation board certificate. The certificate is you have to apply with a matriculation board to get the certificate. And the website, you can go to the website, visit the website, which is www.usaf.ac.za. And then for postgraduate, you need to submit all your qualifications, including the SAQA certificate. And the website as well is also www.saqua.org.za. All application should submit all their relevant documents, including the passport copies, all qualification, and both the certificates, where depending on whether you are applying for undergrad or you are applying for postgraduate. The other forms that you need to apply if you need to be accommodated in the university, you need to fill the accommodation form. The form is also found in the website on the www.univen.ac.za. And you also need to pay an amount of 100 Rand for admission fee so that your application can be filled. And after after paying the 100 Rand, you must use your 6-digit number as a reference. For example, if your passport number is A024681012, you just need to put 24681012 and you leave your 2 alphabet number for as references on your application. Then you submit the proof of payment with your application, including all your qualification to the email address mentioned, which is susan.satere@univen.ac.za or international.admissions@univen.ac.za. Then you'll get an original acceptance letter from the University of Venda. This will assist you to apply for your study visa. By applying for that, you need a valid passport booklet, and then you need a proof of comprehensive medical aid. You can choose any medical aid that is required in South Africa by checking on the website. If you can just go to Google and check medical aids in South Africa, you'll see different medical aids, and you choose the one that you feel that is gonna be useful for you. Then you proof of accommodation as well, a radiology report, not older than 6 months, as well as medical report for you to apply for your study visa. And then a student must also have a proof of funds or sponsorship letter to qualify or to meet the minimum to apply for visa. That is the living expenses or the tuition for him to stay in the country. So you must also have submit that when you are applying for visa. So also one of the requirements for you to apply for study visa. And I think I'm done for now. The link will be sent to you in case you need to find more about the University of Venda. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Susan, for your presentation. We can go over to the questions now. So I will have a look at some of the questions. Here are we. Okay, so Susan, I think you did touch on this already, but there is someone asking on advice on how to apply and how early should they begin their application.
Yeah, perhaps I can give it a go. I think it was sort of covered in the presentation itself. So applications for 2023 will be open around June this year. And as stated in the process, you know, for international students, it's just sending an email to Susan. Susan, you can type or we'll type your details in the chat as well for ease of access. And then she'll take you through the process. You'll have to pay a 100 Rand application fee. I think it's around, it's less than $10, you know, to put in an application so that you can have a reference number. And that will be for 2023 undergraduate studies. For postgraduate studies, applications are open throughout the year. So you'll just need to check and identify which faculty you'd be falling in, and then would link you in with that faculty for their specific processes. They would be different for PhD as well as master's processes. They would take you through, obviously, the proposal writing process, etc., until the registration stage.
Okay, great. And can I ask if you have any student testimonials from international students and how they found moving so far away from home?
Yeah, we have testimonials. I think we will share a video through you, staff,
Yeah,
where
sure.
the students are offering some of their testimonials, but I think the experience has been good so far. That there's been very minimal tensions. And I think as stated in my presentation, we take an active step, in terms of trying to make international students feel at home. And that is from arrival, until they start interacting with other students. So we have quite an intense orientation program, separate from the university orientation program. So the university would offer an orientation program for all students, national as well as international. But then we go deeper for international students because obviously we are aware of, the anxiety about being so far away from home, not knowing anyone. So we try and get them together as soon as possible. And we also take them around, so that they can acquaint themselves, with the city, the town, know the important places, but I think as well as know and start to interact with some of the staff, particularly from the international office, so that, they can access us, access information and access help when required. We also have the buddy program, as mentioned, where we give them, or we introduce them. They don't have to be friends, but at least I think we would have introduced them, to people that know the language, that know the city, that know the town, that know the campus. And I think a couple of weeks with that buddy, we find that international students feel more at home. They make more friends because they have someone who's, taking them to places, introducing them to different people, etc. So we do try and take, extra steps to ensure that international students feel at home.
Sure. And do you need to know the language on arrival or?
No, you don't need to know the language, I think, but you will know it. So all classes are taught in English. The university also operates in English, so all communication would be in English. So from that point, you would have, all the information you need in a language that you understand. The local language here is called Vhembe. So a lot of people do speak Vhembe. I myself, started in around November, and I'm already quite conversant with Vhembe. So you won't avoid it. You'll know it, but you'll know it naturally. I think it's not something that you have to stress about.
That's okay. We can have another webinar on that next time.
Yeah.
Can I gain a dual degree with you?
Yeah, so dual degrees, you won't be able to register for 2 simultaneous degrees. But we do have programs where we have partnered with other international universities as part of the same degree, but you would be getting, different courses would be attended at different universities, etc. But legally in South Africa, you can't be sort of registered for 2 degrees at the same time. You'd be allocated a number of what you are currently doing. But if you are free to do other short courses, etc., online, etc. So it's quite a process, but the short answer is not at the moment, unless through specialized programs where we have with other universities, and those having been duly endorsed.
Okay, and the next question, do you provide us with research project opportunities?
Yes, there are many research project opportunities. I think as stated, we have quite an extensive network in terms of international partners and presence in the world. So meaning naturally that we have a lot of international projects that are happening, as well as local projects. And at times, some of those projects are linked to students, where students are doing, for instance, a master's program, that is funded by the project, or a PhD program that is funded by the project. And obviously through some of these projects, actually students graduating is an output. Currently we have a program between South Africa and Sweden, under SASUF, South Africa Sweden Universities Forum, where we have 3 students doing their master's dissertations as part of that program, and many others. So yes, that's a real possibility.
Okay, and do you have any good advice or top tips for the perfect application form?
Yeah, I think as stated, it's around speaking to issues on the ground. We're really a university that, that prides itself, itself in solving actual issues on the ground. So a good application would be an application that speaks to innovation, that speaks to job creation, and that speaks to actual programs, actual solving problems on the ground. If those problems are located within Southern Africa, then even better, so that's my top tip, I guess.
Okay, and the final question that I have here. So can I gain work experience alongside my degree?
Yes, most definitely. So currently, in many other departments, but in our specific department, we have 3, volunteers who are students at the university with different sets of skills, and we provide them with, working experience. So they do various jobs, from research assistants. We also have a media honors student, who's doing media work for the office. So we do provide that opportunity, and the university is cognizant of that. The UNIVEN radio that I mentioned is part of, such, opportunities for students. So you have journalism students that are doing actual journalism and that are on the radio, having practical work experience, with real equipment, live on radio. So, I mean, those are just some of the examples, but the university really tries very hard to make sure that when students leave, it's not just the theoretical grounding they have, but as well as the practical hands-on knowledge.
Yeah, and that's always important when going out into the world after university. And one more question actually, let's just come in. Would you be able to let me know if you can stay after university studying there? Do you have to extend your visa, or is it a work visa that you would have to get?
Yes, so you would have the opportunity of extending your stay to work in South Africa. That's not necessarily a university legislation, but it's a national legislation. So if you have obtained your qualification in South Africa, it's significantly easier for you to then turn that into some sort of a work permit. And obviously, if you are here for 5 years or more, then you also qualify for permanent residency. But those legislation, although applicable, are not university policy, but I think it's just South Africa being proactive in terms of keeping, people that want to stay. So yes, it's possible.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for all the information today, and thank you guys for attending. And if you are watching either on YouTube, Facebook, or on our website, please do drop us a comment or like. That always helps. And also, if we need any questions that you have, please do send them in, and we will reach out to you within due course. Any last words, Thabo?
No, I think thank you very much to everyone that participated. Yeah, it's University of Venda is a beautiful place, leading in scholarly engaged work. And yeah, we're looking to diversify, obviously, the population on campus. And it would be wonderful to welcome some students from Europe. So hopefully see you soon. Thank you so much for attending.
Great, thank you wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.